Hi, everyone. I'm Frank Malakot. I work for KTVU, Fox 2, the Fox affiliate here in the San Francisco Bay Area. My guest is an entrepreneur, a best-selling author, and he's also the CEO of the Dance Studio Owners Association, some 35,000 dance studios strong from all over the globe. He is here to talk about summer camps for kids, among some other things. Let's say hi to Clint Salter. Clint, how are you?
Hi, Frank. Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you. You're in Miami now. Tell us a little bit about your background, because it's you've done a little bit of everything in your few years.
Yes, definitely feels like I've done a lot. I started when I was 16. I started a dance studio with my friend, grew that business, sold that business, started another business in dance, running a big dance competition back home in Sydney, Australia. I then went on to be an agent for TV and media personalities like yourself, before then working on Jersey Boys, the musical, where I was the touring manager for that show, and then started an education company, which is the Dance Studio Owners Association. And nearly 3 years ago, I decided to bring the company over to the US, and we've been growing the company since. It's been an incredible ride.
And you've got just a few dance studios in the group, 35,000 plus, right?
Yeah, 35,000 dance studio owners we work with every single week, and they impact the lives of nearly over 800,000 children coming into their physical doors or virtual doors that we have open right now. It's an incredible gift that we get to work with these very passionate and dedicated human beings every single day.
Well, we'll get into the summer camps in a moment, but first, how have you guided all these dance studios through a pretty difficult time in the last, about 3 months now?
It has. It's nearly been 3 months, and I'll never forget the Thursday when the news came that studios were closing down. We had 4 days to work out how to really have a new business model for our studio owners. They had to go from an in-person business and flick a switch, although it was a little longer than that, to turn their business online. And so we put our heads down, worked with our studio owners to get them the right technology in place to help transition their teachers from teaching in person to online classes, and also how to communicate with the parents to ensure that the parents still saw the value in virtual dance classes, because it is very different to an in-person experience. But virtual classes are still really valuable. It's great for connection. It's great for creativity. And so we needed to effectively get across that message to parents so that they stay enrolled in the studio, and that the studio was able to survive and come out the other side.
And it's almost 100% you've gone to virtual, right? In most of the studios across the world?
Yeah, across the globe, 100% virtual. We're now seeing some people start to open up in certain capacities, with limitations, of course, and new safety procedures in place, but everyone had to go virtual. So all those people that said, I hate technology, I don't want anything to do with technology, were thrown into using technology to run this Dance Studio 2.0 that they were gifted very quickly.
What are the pluses on going virtual, and maybe some of the minuses as well?
Sure. The pluses of going virtual is that you no longer have challenges around how many students you can have in a class, how far someone's willing to travel to your studio, or any issues around conflicts with scheduling. So beforehand, a parent would come in and say, well, little Susie can't come to the dance class on Tuesday because she has violin. The great thing about virtual is our studio owners are doing live experiences virtually, but then they're recorded and put in a membership site so that people can do the dance class whenever they like. So they're the positives. The negatives, of course, is we can't go up to little Susie and get down to her level and smile at her and say, hey, little Susie, point that toe extra strong. It's harder to have that connection. We've been working really hard with our studio owners on teaching their teachers how to present their classes online, because it is very different. So those feelings that we have by being in person with each other, and everyone is facing this challenge at the moment, we don't get that feeling, but there's still a lot that our studio owners can do online, which has been really incredible to see unfold.
Yeah. Well, we've seen, I haven't seen a lot of dance, but I've seen a lot of music where they brought choirs together that sing, from different parts of the world, different instruments, and it really has been fabulous. So, what about? I know with dance, the girls and the boys, they get close not only to the instructor but to fellow dance mates, and you kind of miss that part of it a little bit, don't you?
You certainly do. I'm proud of our studio owners because they've been very inventive. So they've created new classes like story time. A couple of our studios have done glow in the dark disco parties where they'll sit down and have dinner and then they'll get up and dance. Chat and choose where they'll have lunch with their more senior students, where they sit and have lunch and sit in a circle virtually and talk about how their day has been. So it's been really great to see them introduce how to really engage with each other when we don't have the physical in-person experience. So it has been a challenge, but they're certainly rising to the occasion to give these options so that people don't feel so isolated and alone.
Was it difficult to bring the parents in on this because they're obviously paying for lessons and they want to make sure they get a little bang for their buck? Was that tough to convince them, hey, you're going to like this?
It has been challenging for some of our studio owners. I always say it comes down to communication and saying to the parents, give it a go for a couple of weeks, see what we've been working on, see how we're implementing the virtual studio into our dance studio, and then go from there. So we've been really lucky. Parents have been very open. Parents know that routine is so crucial for their children during this time, and also that they can connect with their friends, even if it's virtually, and see those same faces. So overall, the parents have been fantastic at giving it a go. It hasn't been for everyone. I know with our younger students, so those students that are 2.5 to 4, it's been hard to engage those students through a screen, hence the story time and the princess parties happening as well, and to engage them in different ways to get them sitting in front of the screen. So that age group has been a little tricky, but overall parents have been really supportive because they want to ensure that the studio can get through this and that they have a studio to go to when the new school season starts.
Well, as I recall, it's hard to get them engaged at 2.5, even when they're in the studio sometimes. So that is understandable. Do you think the Zoom and the way we're doing things, especially in the world of dance, is maybe here to stay? We don't know what's going to happen down the road with COVID-19, but maybe a mix of both?
It's definitely here. I've been talking about a hybrid model for a couple of years now, and I think that this has been the catalyst for people to really think about how do we implement virtual learning into our business model. And so our studio owners, like I said, were thrown into it and really had no choice if they wanted to survive. But now the conversation is, how do we integrate virtual into our in-person experience? And they're conversations we've been having over the last couple of weeks. Personally, I think it's going nowhere. Virtual is definitely going to stay and be a part of the business model. And I think it's a great opportunity for studio owners to be able to share their teachers, their love of dance, their curriculums with people that aren't close to them, that can't take those physical classes. So overall, I think it's going to be great. It's still a little scary for a lot of studio owners at the moment because it's still brand new.
Right. And I mean, if you fall in love with a teacher and you move to Michigan, you can still take the class. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. I know you've got a connection to Broadway. You work with the Jersey Boys. Tell us what you did with them. You mentioned it briefly. And just for fun, what do you think the future of theater and Broadway is?
It's a great question. So I was a touring manager for Jersey Boys back home in Australia and also New Zealand. Incredible journey. I managed a company of 56 very creative people, from our artists to our crew to the back of house. Such a great experience that I did before coming over to the US with the Dance Studio Owners Association. I love musicals. I was in New York for a couple of years. I would go to a show nearly every single week. I have lots of friends that are on Broadway, and it's been devastating that the theater world and the live event world has been really impacted by COVID-19. What do I think is going to happen? What I know for sure is that this creative and entertainment world is very creative, and we'll find some innovative solutions for us. I think it'll look like maybe reseating so that the seats will look a little different. They're not going to be as close together. Some of those New York theaters are very, very tight.
Right.
And so I think we'll see that. I also think we'll see different policies and procedures in place to ensure that the cast and the crew stay safe while they're performing or running the shows. And it always comes down to the audience. What is the audience comfortable in doing? Are they comfortable coming into an enclosed theater? And it really comes down to the policies and the procedures that the theaters and the productions put in place. And it really comes down to safety first. And so everyone is reorganizing what that looks like at the moment. It's not going away. People love going to the theater, but it's definitely going to look a little bit different in the near future.
Yeah, we miss it. I know San Francisco's got a very active theater group, and we've got 4 or 5 big theaters here. And Hamilton was here for almost a year and a half, and that is shut down. Everything's shut down. So we can hope and pray that that all comes back with a force. We'll move into summer camps now, because you are an expert on kids too. After all your dance throughout your years, tell us, why are summer camps so important?
Summer camps are really important at the moment. I know parents are thinking, what am I going to do with my children when school is over? Because we can't really venture out into the big world just yet. And so when it comes to summer camps, you want to get your child or children into them because it keeps the routine going. Children really thrive in routine. And I know that that's been disrupted because of online learning, but we want to keep them on that schedule and in a regular schedule that they can move into and adapt to, because what we don't want is to not have a schedule or a summer camp for them to go wild for summer and then have to come back to school. So summer camps are really crucial that you get your child into an activity that they can be a part of.
And I think parents would like their kids to join summer camps if they can. They're probably going nuts. They've been inside the house for a good 3 months now, right?
Yeah, they are definitely ready for them to go to summer camp as well, whether it's an in-person experience that has been tailored for the new normal that we're in, or it's a virtual experience that can give them a little bit of peace and quiet during the day to have some time for themselves.
Sure. What advice would you give parents that are looking at maybe dance, it could be tennis, it could be soccer or crafts, arts? What advice would you give families out there, parents?
Firstly, there are so many options. And so I would encourage them to explore all the different types of camps that are available. I know our dance studios alone are running multiple virtual camps from arts and crafts, where they're actually going to send you the box of all the art and all the craft that your child needs. So you don't need to go to the grocery store and pick everything up. It's going to be sent straight to your house. I saw that there's baseball camps. Who would have thought? Virtual baseball camps that are going to be happening. Be careful. There's no vases or anything dangerous when they're swinging the bat, but there really is an abundance of options. So the first thing is really look at the different things that are available and go for something that you might not usually go for your child during this summer, because people are doing incredible things. That's the first thing. If you're looking for something in person, go to the website of the camp that you're looking at, go to their social media and ensure that they've been clearly communicating their safety procedures and policies that they've introduced because of COVID-19. So we want to make sure that the companies are putting safety at the core of their summer camp. So have a look, see what they've been chatting about online. I know some of our studio owners have been filming funny videos, video clips of them cleaning with their team members. Some have done infographics that really walk you through the safety procedures they've put in place. So make sure that system is in place. And then lastly, make sure you know what cancellation policies they have, if there's any credits available to you, if the camp doesn't happen. If it's an in-person camp, do they have a virtual option for you as well, just in case you're not comfortable or they might end up having to cancel the camp last minute. So there's a couple of things just to look into before you enroll in a camp.
And we've talked about it, but all the PPE, do you need to bring that? Do you need to wear a mask? I guess you should be afraid as a parent to ask questions, right?
Please ask questions. And if you're dealing with the right type of business, they'll be more than happy to share with you what they are doing. We actually put together a 32-page guide for our studio owners on how to open safely. You want to ask questions to the camps. Do you have a safety policy in place? What if this happens? What if that happens? So please ask the questions. And if it's the right type of business, they'll be more than happy to answer those questions for you.
So if it's virtual and they're on Zoom or some other medium, and the kids have been, homeschooling now for 3 months, are you an advocate for finding maybe something that gets them out of the house and away from their computer?
100%. Before this, I was always saying less screen time, more activities, more creativity, more in-person experiences. And why that's a little harder at the moment, I want to encourage you, please get your children outside. I love seeing some of our studio owners doing dance classes in car parks this week, which was fantastic, and out in the fields. And one of the great things with virtual classes, I know a lot of the students have been taking the laptop outside and just like dancing in the grass. And so I want to encourage you, yes, please get outside if you can. Obviously safety first, but everyone, not just the kids, everyone needs to get outside at the moment if it's safe to do so.
Any thoughts on types? I know you're in Miami, but throw a few out there that come to mind besides dance for your kids that might be kind of fun.
Yeah, amazing. So obviously sports is a huge one. So if you're into baseball, if you're into football, if you're into gymnastics, I know cheer is doing a lot of great things as well outside. Music is doing great things as well outside, taking your instrument outside, plugging in. I mean, there are so many different things. I would ask parents, look at what your child has shown some interest in. Maybe they are interested in an instrument. Maybe it's craft. Maybe it's art and drawing. I mean, nature it's never been more green. I know where I am, there's a lot of green going on. We've had a lot of rain, but like painting, it's a great time to paint. I saw the other day, there's these big canvases of like coloring in pages, but they're huge and they're essentially like a rug where you can sit and like color in a big canvas. But please get your children being creative as well. I think being inside, being attached to a computer, we've probably lost some of that creativity that we get from school, and being outside and being with our friends. And that's what kids really need at the moment. They need to nurture and embrace that creativity piece, as well as being socially engaged. School's going to end very soon, and the connection they had with their friends virtually is going to go away. So make sure they're also engaged with their friends during this time.
Yeah, that is so important. Glenn, if they want to get a hold of you, some parents maybe watching this, they're interested in dance, how do they do it?
Sure. So please visit us. Just go to dsoa.com. It's a Dance Studio Owners Association. You'll also find us on Instagram and Facebook. And please reach out. Like we were talking about, we have over 34,000 dance studios that are a part of our network. So I'm sure we have one in your area if you're interested in getting your children into dance during this summer.
Very good, Glenn. What a pleasure to meet you. Really nice to speak with you as well.
Thanks, Frank. Pleasure.
That is Clint Salter. He is the CEO of Dance Studio Owners Association, among many other things. A pleasure, and we'll see you down the road, Clint. Thanks.
Take care.
All right. I'm Frank Malakote. If you'd like more information, you can go to coronavirusnow.com. Have a great day, everybody.